If you want to eat healthy and feel your best, you gotta try Kachava. Kachava is the world's healthiest all-in-one meal shake. It's made with over 70 plant-based superfoods and nutrients. Giving you all your essentials in one delicious.
God, get this fucking shit off of here. What the fuck? Get off my fucking internet, man. The fuck, bitch? I'm gonna fucking flip out, man. Get off of my fucking internet, people. Get the fuck off my internet. Please. Okay.
Pay attention to your friendships around you, okay? Because you're manifesting your soul tribe, but some of the friends that you have in your circle are just a burden, okay? They're just blocking your blessings. We have animals. If you lost a pet or an animal here, that was due to some sort of sacrifice or witchcraft. I'm also getting like you're very connected to animals. You're an empath light worker here. You could be seeing dogs, owls, black cats. These are all trying to give you more confirmation here. But I feel like it's time to connect to those animals around you. Yeah, there's somebody here is praying for forgiveness. They're asking God for forgiveness. I'm also hearing like we should always forgive our enemies. You know what I mean? Because obviously these are people in this energy that
people
have not
being
accomplished what you have. These are people that are still
horrible
lost,
to me. So I don't know. He finally got the car started, and he's just gonna come up there.
Envy comes from lack, from not feeling like they can have.
He's just gonna come up there. He finally got the car started.
I have a special talent. Why don't you go find your special talent?
What? I don't know. I don't actually know.
Okay.
Something's wrong with Bubba, and there was like shit all over the side of my pants earlier, and I don't know. I have no idea, Mom. I never know, you know. I don't know. I mean, to drag my dog around when I'm like this, and you know, it's just like it's traumatizing over and over again to me. So it's just like, it's alright. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I wanted to just go see you, and it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. What's that? I would, yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, Mom, that's totally fine. He got the car started, so hopefully he's gonna be coming up there soon. I mean, it sounds like it turned back off again or something. Oh, hopefully he said he's gonna. So I'm sorry it's taking so long, but I guess the car wasn't starting or something. I don't know, the battery. I just so out of energy because of everybody being so. It's just a lot of negative energy. Huh? Mom, I know, Mom, and I'm so sorry. Like, I don't, I can't even move right now. It's just like, I don't know. Okay. Thank you, Mom. All right. Love you too. Bye.
Maybe they will speak the truth and tell you what they've done so you can forgive them. Okay? But I'm getting like some of you guys could be dreaming about money here. You could be seeing something crystal clear. Because I'm also getting something about lucid dreaming. It's like you're lucid dreaming. Your dreams are becoming more clear, more prophetic. If that's resonating with you, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Yeah, we got forgiveness, like I said. And it's like forgiveness is very important. I'm not gonna lie, you know, like it's always beautiful to forgive. It's always beautiful to have compassion. It doesn't mean you have to dance with them again or speak to them again, but even just energetically be like, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. You know? That kind of energy. Let me just quickly clarify forgiveness here. Yeah, healing. It's like you've healed yourself, you've forgiven yourself. Somebody here is gonna want closure and forgiveness. 5 of Swords. Yeah, guys, look. Copycat. Envious energy around you. Okay? Some of these people, okay, I'm also hearing some of these people don't deserve your forgiveness. But since you're a light worker and you know that like that's part of the journey of light worker here, you're gonna still send that. But it's like these people, they should be begging for forgiveness. They should be asking you for forgiveness. 5 of Swords. Very, very hateful energy, very competitive. It's like somebody is super competitive, competing with you, making sure that they succeed before you or further than you. 7 of Wands. Yeah, protect your energy. It's like you're trying to block your success while you're in the healing path here. Emperor. Okay, you're on Aries energy. You're on this boss-like energy. You're a leader. You're becoming a leader. We have the Hierophant. Okay, God loves you. You're chosen by God here. You have a lot of secret knowledge. That's what's crazy here. What's like this forgiveness with 7 of Wands? It's like you need to like somebody here is gonna want your forgiveness. But Spirit is saying now you need to protect your energy from this person. For others of you, this could be an ex-spouse, somebody that you married. Alright. Clarify that 5 of Swords here, Spirit. Yeah, it could be a Leo, a Taurus. Clarify forgiveness. Clarify forgiveness. We got long hair, so you could have long hair here. Somebody could be jealous of your long, beautiful, natural hair. Clarify forgiveness. Yeah, because if you notice, this girl here also has long hair. You could have red hair. You don't have to, but somebody here has red hair. You're building a foundation. So all they're going to do is just beg for your forgiveness, bro. Because the only way that God's going to forgive them is if you do. Spiritual bath, okay? Make sure that you're constantly cleansing your energy, taking your spiritual baths. Okay, for some of you guys, it is family. And look at this evil, look at this evil eye on your beauty. Like I said, somebody envies your long hair, your body, your beauty, the way God made you. Okay, look, don't ask your family for help. I'm getting something heavy about family here. Don't ask them for shit. Okay, Aquarius energy is coming through. Taurus energy is coming through. Okay, I'm not gonna read this card. You guys can see it yourself. Okay, like that, if that resonates with you. Then we have work with plants. Okay, make sure that you're working with plants here. We have the Messiah. Exactly, I'm talking to a chosen one here, a Messiah. We have you were born to be a legend twice. So this is something Spirit really wants to emphasize. Whoever you are, you were born for great things. You're gonna be a legend. You're gonna be known. Okay, a lot of people could be also telling you that they're dreaming about you at this time. Or yeah. Whoa, okay. I just got a crazy download. What's happening is God is revealing to your enemies a lot of things in their dreams. Like they're dreaming about you. They're seeing your success. They're seeing that you're gonna be born a legend. They're seeing that your future. They're seeing you being blessed with money, with success, with stardom. Yeah. God is showing them that's part of their punishment. To see a glance, just a glance into your future. Yeah, because you're making big moves over here. Okay.
Love you, I love
And
you.
then we have ancient Egypt. You were Isis. Some of you guys here were a goddess in a past life. Okay.
Hello, Moto.
All right. I'm gonna end this ancestor messages here. Let's see what they want to say.
Hello?
Ancestors keep popping up in the reading.
What's going on?
Okay.
What's wrong? Are you okay?
All right. Ancestor spirit guides of the highest white light. How do you want to close out
I'm
this
so
reading? What would you like to say?
Hello?
Like,
Hi.
yeah, you're a teacher. Somebody here is like teaching a collective where you're teaching something here. You share your knowledge. Yeah, I felt that with forgiveness, of course. Your ancestors want you to connect with water, okay? Because you're a medium here. I'm talking to a psychic, a medium. Your ancestors passed down this ability to you to be a medium, to be an open channel for messages. Exactly what the high priest is there. It says connect with water, okay? Connect with the ocean if you're near the ocean, or if you live in a hot area right now where you could go to an ocean. Connect with water. Connect and hydrate. Drink tons of water. Did you notice in this forgiveness part, there's a lot of water. There's like I'm here in Niagara Falls, waterfall. Okay, this would help you protect your energy. This would help you cleanse a river or something like
Hello?
that.
Hi.
Then we have take time out. Okay?
Oh, it's right when you open the driver's side door, it's right at the end, right in front of the seat right there, right next to the door. There's a little switch there.
Time to rest. Okay, yeah. Look
Do
at
you
this
see
girl
that?
here. She's in school.
Oh, right on the fucking where you put your foot to get in the car, or kind of like the door when you open the front door, it's right there inside the front door. It's right inside the front door, right inside the front door on the floorboard in front of the seat.
That's sad. You may be somebody in the public eye. If you're not, fine. But it's
Do
time
you
to
see
take
it?
time to rest, to recharge, either with water.
It's right in front of the driver's seat on the floorboard. Between the door and the floorboard. And the I know.
Around more feminine energy. Okay.
What? Huh? What?
Yeah. Connect with past loved ones. Your ancestors are
Did you
there.
find
You
it?
see their spirit. They're there surrounding you right now.
Okay, well, right in front of the seat, between the door and the floorboard, it's on the floorboard, directly in front of the front seat. Right next to the. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What? Okay. I know. Okay. I'm sorry, Scott. Thank you. My mom's really thankful. My mom's really thankful that you're helping. She just called to say thank you again. My mom just called to say thank you again because she's really thankful. All right. I'm sorry. She's really thankful. Thank you. Me too. All right, Scott. You're awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Scott. Are you okay? Okay. Oh, man.
You have your ancestors around you. Connect with these past loved ones, okay? They want you to light a candle to them, to feel them. Yeah, I'm seeing sense, feel, and reconnect. Some of you guys might have just gotten chills or shivers as I showed you this card. If so, this is because your ancestors are around you, okay? Like they're saying that you are a psychic. You can feel them around you. Maybe you feel it on your skin. Maybe you can sense their presence. Maybe you are a medium that can actually see them. You can see orbs. Or maybe they're coming into your dreams. Like I said, there's a confirmation about you, them coming into your dreams. Okay, your ancestors, your past loved ones are speaking to you. They're here. Okay? Their astral body is connecting with you. They're saying, okay, it's time to reconnect with us. We will protect you. Last card here says, remember who you are. Remember your culture. Remember where you come from. Your ancestors want you to connect to your roots, in your beliefs. What were their beliefs? Okay, if you ask loved ones, they'll tell you, about their culture, about what they believed, and what the roots that you need to connect to as well. Okay? Remember who you are. Remember you're a star seed. Remember you're a soldier. Remember that you come from powerful ancestry. So some of you guys are awakening here in your dreams. You're getting dreams about your past lives, about who you were. If that resonates with you, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Last message. Okay, that's the last message. Yeah, go out to your energy. Okay? We have balance yourself, directions, growth, and life changes. Yeah, you're going to come into a time right now. Some of you guys could be seeing butterflies or a white feather. Okay, this is your ancestor speaking to you. If you saw a yellow or purple butterfly recently, that was your ancestor speaking to you. They're showing you with omens. Okay, with this huge bear, I feel like you have a feminine ancestor energy that's very protective over you. Okay, in the spirit world, this could be a mother, a grandmother, an aunt, or maybe an ancestor that you know or you do not know. It doesn't matter. Okay, they're watching over you. Thank you, Jen Empress, for your donation. So yeah, balance yourself. You're going in a whole new direction. Okay, you're growing, and they're guiding you into a better direction, somewhere where you're gonna grow, somewhere where you're gonna feel more balanced. Some of you guys, maybe you've been like collecting rocks or shells. This is your ancestors intuitively asking you to, okay, because that's something that they did in their culture. All right, guys, this is the end of the reading here today. Thank you so much for your donations, your likes, your shares, your subscriptions. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe here at Magi the Priestess channel, okay? Ancestor Spirit Guides at the highest white light. I send all this energy back to the light, back to source. Any negative energy, evil eye, hex, curse sent to me or my people, you send it back to the light. All right? I always gotta hit my bell. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. I hope this message brought you protection, love, light, okay, and healing. It's time to balance yourself. Remember who you are. Just kind of keep focusing on you, because I see that there's a lot of envy around you. There's a lot of obstacles around you, but as long as you focus on yourself and remember who you are, it will empower you. Okay? Thank you so much, guys. I love you, team. I appreciate all of you and all of your comments. I love you too. She said, I saw some white feather and blood today. Whoa, that's dope. I found a white feather yesterday. Yeah, when you see a black feather, it means you need to protect yourself. Okay? A black feather says like you need to do some sort of spell work here to protect yourself. Like do some sort of cleansing, okay? Definitely, definitely. Thank you guys for all your blessings and all your support. You're welcome, Aqua. All right, bye, guys.
Try this 6-second method tonight to reverse type 2 diabetes. Most people continue to take blood sugar medications because they've been brainwashed by the medical establishment.
People make me so sad. I just get really sad. Makes me really sad.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment you are going to hear the voice of a man who will tell you some tremendously important facts.
Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. Then perhaps you can tell me who to contact. He smiled then, and a gleeful child was visible behind his old man's face. Maybe you've been contacted already. The man in the violet jacket? Who knows? I tried to probe further, but he would say no more. He excused himself, saying he had to return to his experiments. I did learn, however, from a yellowed scrapbook shown me by his wife, that he had received his medical degree from the Imperial Russian University, as well as degrees in chemistry and physics, that he had borne a count and had served as a colonel in the Imperial Russian Army during the First World War, and that afterward he had been a priest as well as a yogi. When I made my way down the worn steps into the street, I was dazed in the afternoon sun. A peculiar spot. I headed for Mother Lode country again, this time to visit Garden City. A man once had attempted suicide with a pistol just off a lonely road on the outskirts of the tiny town. The gun had been knocked from his hand by an invisible force, and a voice out of nowhere had stated that he was on a sacred ground where a great healing center would rise in the future. That would-be suicide promptly bought the land and erected a cross. The story had been related to me, and I wanted to investigate. I had difficulty finding the place, but eventually, off a narrow dirt road, I spotted a white cross shining through the trees. Making my way to it, I sat beneath it and meditated, and immediately was overtaken by a vision of the origin and dispersal of the gold that underlay the Motherlode country. I saw myself sitting atop a rich vein, and energies it emitted were affecting my consciousness. I spent the night in a sleeping bag, counting the stars and finally falling into a fitful dream. I dreamed of the swing of our solar system around the center of its galaxy. Suddenly, a change of polarity was reached, and the Earth toppled as its north and south poles switched. Giant tidal waves swept the planet, and it rocked from enormous earthquakes. When things finally settled down, the geographic and magnetic poles were aligned, and there were no seasons. The handful of people remaining alive dwelt in eternal spring. At the first sign of dawn, I left this peculiar spot and resumed my journey. The previous night had seen a silver of moon disappear into the setting sun, and I intended to be on Mount Shasta in the dark of the moon. Plant in the darkness, reap in the light, so the almanac says. All during the drive, through the green farms and fields of the Sacramento Valley, I reviewed recent events. Certainly an unbiased observer would label them senseless, yet to me, in my altered state of awareness, they seemed quite reasonable, tying together the cosmic cycles of the universe. Central to this notion was the idea of superior beings from other worlds who attended our planet in order to aid struggling souls to escape from bondage to matter. Headquarters of this strange race was supposed to be in Mount Shasta, abode of the gods. The mountaintop had a curious history. In the 19th century, a prospector reported an unusual encounter with a being who took him through time and space to the ancient continents of Lemuria and Atlantis, and even to the planet Venus. A government surveyor testified later he had been taken inside the mountain and shown a vast array of machinery. He told a tale of underground caverns lighted by invisible lamps and strange foods that exalted the consciousness and made ecstatic the soul. The Indians of the area considered the mountain sacred and refused to climb it, even though the climb was little more than a hard walk. The drive into the Siskiyou was exhilarating. Now the vast expanse of Lake Shasta could be seen headwaters of the Sacramento River, which emptied into San Francisco Bay. Through sentinels of pine and fir, a shimmering surface cast flickering reflections. This is where the border should be. I thought the brown hills of California had given way to the green forests of Oregon. I felt a thrill of anticipation. It was nearly dark by the time I set up camp on the mountain after parking at the end of a dirt road far below. How high I had climbed, I had no way of knowing. The mountain loomed above me in the twilight, snow-covered twin peaks luminescent in the last rays of the setting sun. Jesús y María, the Spaniards had called them. A chill settled over the rocky landscape, and I wondered if I would be able to bear the night cold. Overhead, the first stars appeared. The night was clear, so at least I would have starlight. I gathered what wood I could find and built a small fire. Then I climbed into my sleeping bag and studied the heavens. I must have been dozing because I suddenly realized that someone was calling my name. Glancing around, I perceived a shadow at the edge of the rocks, so I answered at once, half expecting to be approached by the man in the violet jacket. Instead, a beautiful woman came forward in the starlight. The fire had died down, and the faint glow, I thought I was hallucinating. I shook my head, but the woman remained in my vision. "Welcome to Mount Shasta," she said. "News of your arrival has preceded you. I think I can promise you an interesting time. Please follow when you're ready." Door to another world. I climbed out of my sleeping bag, shivering in the cold, and began gathering my belongings. Her face was luminous, smooth, white skin, seemingly without line or wrinkle, though she gave the impression of maturity. Her eyes shone in the darkness. Only a white smock graced her slim figure, and her feet were clad only in sandals, yet she seemed impervious to the cold. Seeing I was ready, she turned around and set off in the darkness. I followed at once. We hiked for perhaps an hour and exchanged not a word. Several times I wanted to say something, but she set a strong pace that kept me gasping for breath. Overhead, the position of the stars revealed that it was after midnight. Finally, she stopped before a low cliff fronted by an enormous rock. She whistled several notes, and the rock swung aside, and then she disappeared into the interior. Hesitantly, I followed, and the rock closed behind me. Instantly, there was light. The man in the violet jacket smiled at me from where he was, seated in a high-backed chair in a room hollowed out of the cliff. He arose at once. "My dear friend," he said, "how good to see you. May I introduce Portia?" He gestured toward the young woman who had been my guide. In the light, she was even more beautiful. She made a small curtsy and disappeared through a rough-hewn door in the rock. I gathered there were chambers beyond. The man in the violet jacket pointed to a chair. "Please make yourself comfortable. We have arrived at a crucial stage in our relationship, and before going further, must be sure that you have your wits about you." I took the chair indicated and glanced around the room. Light seemed to emanate from the walls and ceiling. There was solid rock, yet bore no evidence of dampness or mineral incrustation. The chairs in which we sat had inscrolled backs, and the seats were covered with a strange material. There were a couch and desk of similar design, and a Persian rug covered the floor. Otherwise, the room was bare. A word of warning. "Now then," said the man in the violet jacket, "I think we might as well begin by your calling me Count. I actually was a count at one time and was heir to my father's kingdom. Unfortunately, the kingdom was destroyed, and I was stripped of my title. Your using it will remind me of better days, if you don't mind." "Of course, I don't mind," I replied, and added, "Count." "Very well," he said. "Now, I must warn you that you have entered dangerous territory. This is the beginning of the pyramid mysteries, which will place your soul in peril. There is yet a chance of withdrawal, should you desire to take it." He stared at me with impenetrable eyes. He made an incongruous figure sitting there in his violet morning coat, dark striped pants, and gold-headed walking stick. But even if I were crazy or hypnotized, or both, his words clearly were ominous. I fought down a sense of anxiety and tried to make my voice steady. "If I brave the danger and succeed in overcoming it, what then is my reward?" He stroked his beard. "The richest prize on earth, more precious than diamonds or gold. I can tell you no more at the moment. If I fail, then all is lost with you. Your life, your possessions, your very soul. In the annals of the universe, your name will be expunged forever." "I should not think that wealth alone or even freedom is worth such a risk," I said. "Would I not be wiser to take the way of ordinary men and submit to an ordinary fate? That is up to you, of course, but if you wish to turn your back on this adventure, time is short. You must decide at once." He waited. In a flash, a panorama of life moved before my eyes. I saw the ancient heritage of man, the rise and fall of endless civilizations. I saw the hope and aspiration, the broken dreams and sad defeats, the greed and vanity and corruption, bloodshed, starvation, and disease. Turn back to that? I felt my fear leave me. "I'll go ahead," I said. "The richest prize on earth. Do you agree to place your soul in jeopardy?" "If such be required, I so agree." "Very well then, please observe carefully." Before my eyes, he changed into a different person. A rough working man with calloused hands and unshaven beard. Then into a banker with elegant dark suit and watch chain on vest. Then into a luminous being enwrapped in light. Then again into the man in the violet jacket. He smiled at my confusion. "The richest prize on earth," he said, "is the mastery of your mind. To think only that which you choose to think, and thereby create your own world. Now your thoughts are subject to mine, so I can cause you to see me differently. I shall not do so, however, except in your own interest, for such power is given only to those who have proven themselves trustworthy. That is what you must do now by means of a dangerous mission." He waited. "And what is this mission to be?" I asked. A trace of amusement crept over his face as he answered. "You must steal the Lucifer Manifesto from under the devil's eye." Chapter 2. Act of Sorcery. I awoke in my sleeping bag in the gray light of dawn. Fog covered the mountain and rocks jutted grotesquely in the gloom. So it had been a dream. Well, not a dream exactly, more like an astral projection. My my body had remained in my sleeping bag while my consciousness visited the mountain's interior and meeting with the man in the violet jacket who now wanted to be called Count. And I had been given a dangerous mission, but what it was I could not recall, nor could I remember anything more, despite a feeling that more had transpired. Adventure in the mind. As I lay there in the growing dawn, my thoughts adrift in the world of mind and my body feeling the cold reality of the world around me, I knew I had to take a chance. The material world was the world of survival. Everybody struggled for it, nobody achieved it, so life was a tragedy. The mental world, on the other hand, offered more promise. Nobody even knew what a thought was or where it came from. Everybody experienced consciousness, but nobody knew what that consciousness was. Yet by the very nature of the laws of balance, the outer world could not be more important than the inner. If it were, it eventually would overcome the inner world and drive it out of existence. Bereft of an opposite, the outer world then would disappear too. By the time I had gathered myself sufficiently to rise from my mountain bed, I had come to a number of decisions. First, I would begin obeying the behest of my inner world by following my inspiration. Second, I would suspend my judgment and common sense so as not to inhibit the experiment. And third, I would set a date when I would bring the experiment to an end. 3 spring equinoxes in the future seemed appropriate, then I would reassert my rational will. Having made this resolve, I performed the pyramid meditation. This meditation was taught to me by the Count. It consists of a series of mental and physical exercises designed to activate the etheric energy vortexes of the body so as to produce a body of light. There was a trance that lasted about half an hour. Often there was recall. That morning in the Mount Shasta fog, I saw the eternal conflict between God and the devil as a struggle for the human soul. I saw God as the centripetal force that draws all things into it, and the devil as the centrifugal force that seeks to escape. Balance between the two produced the great circular motion of universes, galaxies, solar systems, and atoms, and manifested eternally as the struggle between life and death for the consciousness of man. Insignificant, infinitesimal, earthbound material man was less than nothing in the vast, unimaginable reaches of time and space. But the inner, infinite mental man was clearly capable of containing everything within himself and thereby becoming creator of it. Then I knew that I had embarked upon an adventure that could easily end in madness, for I sought moment-to-moment awareness of all opposites and their shifting polarities and their moving centers of balance. Such an unstable foundation could produce an unstable mind. The Oregon Vortex. Eventually, I found myself backpacking down the mountain when I reached the car. I was in a state of exhilaration. Driving through the foothills, I suddenly realized that I was following a will other than my own. Everything seemed to be happening. I didn't seem to be causing it. At the highway, I turned north, heading into Oregon. All that morning, I drove through the Siskiyou. When I reached the Gold Hill, I was drawn to visit the Oregon Vortex. I remember the Oregon Vortex as a place that evidenced an anomaly in the Earth's gravitational field. Objects appeared larger looking in one direction than in another. Things leaned off the vertical. Balls seemed to roll uphill. Admission was charged. It was a tourist attraction. I went through the regular guided tour of the ruined old cabin on the side of the hill, but experienced nothing unusual. As I was leaving, however, I had an urge to climb the hill. Coming upon an old dirt road, I followed its winding, overgrown surface toward the top. Nearly there, came upon an abandoned gold mine. The shaft was clearly visible, a gaping hole into darkness with fallen timbers at the mouth. Rusted and twisted metal tracks showed where ore cars formerly had lowered their precious cargo to waiting hands below. Near the entrance to the shaft was a niche in the rocks. I took a seat there and waited. Before long, I heard footsteps. The man who hove into view was a stranger, yet there was something familiar about him. He wore hiking clothes, carried a knapsack, and an unlit pipe was stuck in his mouth. He smiled and waved pleasantly. "Hi," he said. "Hope I'm not intruding." I assured him he wasn't, and he found a seat, peering at the landscape and giving me time to study him. In my newly adopted attitude, there was no room for coincidence. According to my inner agreement, I was being initiated into the pyramid mysteries, so everything must have meaning. Now I remembered that I had been warned that at every turn of the road I would be confronted by my adversary. He, like my mentor, was a changeling and could take any form he desired. Who was this sudden visitor? A knot of anxiety gathered in my stomach. Strange encounter. Do you live around here? I asked. No, he answered. Visiting then? No. That's strange. He turned to look at me, and now there was no question about it. This was no ordinary man. For a moment, we stared at each other, and I felt myself sinking. With a powerful effort, I shook free and staggered to my feet. You are only making it more difficult, he said. There is no need to struggle. But I was moving now, and a wave of fear broke over me. Half running, half falling, I sped down the hill. When I reached the bottom, there was no one behind me. I felt a rush of shame. Perhaps the supposedly innocent hiker was only an innocent hiker after all. Count himself was testing me. A genuine paranoia began to set in as I made my way to the car. I felt dizzy and confused. Nevertheless, I managed to continue my journey. The episode had happened so unexpectedly that it seriously shook my resolve. If I were going to be investing perfect strangers with evil power and assigning significance to the smallest casual act, I already was a candidate for the psychiatrist's couch, if not the asylum. All of a sudden, the material world upon which I disdainfully had turned my back began a swan song. Trees never seemed so green, a mountain so grand, nature so lovely. I wanted to see, hear, feel, touch, smell, taste. Everything was good, even though it passed away. With all my heart, I wanted to cling to life, knowing I could not start it with anguish in my soul. Quickly, I turned my attention elsewhere. Behind a hidden door within lurked a hidden fear. The annals of the soul. It was a law of nature that nothing ends but only changes, and the cycles repeat themselves endlessly. Nothing can be clearer than the solar cycle of seed to seed by which nature eternally renews itself. If we think of the soul as the seed from which a progression of bodies springs, each coming to the end of its cycle in due time, and the soul returning to seed again, enriched and made stronger by the experience, then we have a glimpse of how the doctrine of reincarnation conforms to the laws of nature. Seeing this conformity extend backward in time to the earliest written manuscript, one cannot but have respect for the wisdom of the ancients. Has man fallen from a higher, wiser state? Has he blocked out awareness of his true nature and power through being enmeshed in the clutches of matter? Answer to these questions had been given to me by the Count. I reviewed them now and pondered. He had spoken of an inhabited universe that extended far beyond our telescopes and laser beams, one in which all the inhabitants are progressing toward a higher state of consciousness. He told of the odyssey of the human soul from being enslaved by matter to achieving freedom and power. The soul incarnated in myriad bodies to gain experience and wisdom. Where it behaved unwisely, it was drawn to the experience again. The force drawing the soul was known as karma. Karma was the spiritual equivalent of the physical law. To every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The time has come, the Count had said, for you to balance your karma. As I drove toward the Oregon coast in the sunshine, I realized I was about to begin. I was on the way to visit my mother. The scene to which I was returning was full of painful memories. On the wind-blown, rain-swept, fog-bound Oregon coast, my father had died after a lengthy illness. Into the house where he spent his last days, I had moved my family for the last time we ever lived together. On the Oregon coast, my sister had been overtaken by the illness that kept her mind in shadow. There, my mother was spending her old age in a tiny house near an elementary school which her grandchildren had attended. There, too, I had penetrated the world of shades and seen the ghostly forms that lie beyond the grave. Did I imagine it, or was it fact? I thought my father's spirit had become bound to the house, and I thought that I had freed him. Journey to the past. I slept that night on the sand dunes that front the beach at Florence, and the next day I drove to Newport. The breakwater and silt-filled harbor with suspension bridge across loosed nostalgia in my mind. But when I knocked upon my mother's door, I returned to the present immediately. She never changed. Dark hair, still untouched by gray, face unlined, though nearing 80, cool blue eyes, stout of body, strong of heart. She'd run a tavern, nursed her husband, sailed out her errant daughter. Jesus was her Lord and Savior. As ever, she was glad to see me. We sat in the kitchen and chatted over dinner. She could cook. She always fixed the trimmings. Tiny porcelain figures filled the shelves. Everything was spotless. As Jesus was her Lord and Savior, she was mine. The Rock of Ages. Or was she mortal too and doomed to die like all the others? I didn't want an answer. 3 days I slept in my mother's home and haunted the red brick house at Otter Rock where my father had died and my family split asunder.
What kind of
No
fucking
ghosts were there
text did I
except my
just
own.
get?
I could see that much of my energy had been bound to the spot, so I set about freeing it by the simple device of returning to the place each day and reliving my memories until they were free from emotional charge. It soon became clear that I was not to succeed in the 3-day period. Much lay buried beneath my remembrance, and I would have to deal with it later. However, I felt lighthearted when I bid my mother goodbye and set off to see my son and daughter. The drive north was exhilarating across the mouth of mighty Columbia by the bridge at Astoria, then around the Olympic Peninsula with its dense rainforests. I took the ferry at Port Angeles and crossed the straits to Vancouver Island. The mind that knows and cares. They lived in an animal shelter, not exactly inside but close enough so that it was easy to imagine they had been imprisoned with dogs. Lots of howling and barking. I decided to stay in a hotel. My son worked in the shelter with his wife. My daughter was living with them while she tried to get settled. He wore a beard and looked like a working man. She played the harp and looked angelic. His wife was 10 years his elder, a capable woman with soft, loving eyes. He had worked his way around the world and studied with the Buddhists. Now he sought to be harmless and wrote stacks of manuscript that was hard to understand. She, on the other hand, had been a Playboy bunny, an actress, a songwriter, and a performer. After a bout with drugs, she had decided to change her life, leaving Hollywood for Vancouver Island. To me, they were special people, doing their own thing, learning the hard way, which is the only way anybody ever learns, and that's from experience. They were educating me also as I vicariously added their experience to my own. We went for a picnic in the woods and took the ferry across the bay and drove about the enchanting countryside with its small farms and roadside stands
really
selling
don't
vegetables
understand
and fruit
people.
as we talked.
I really don't.
What should concern us, we all agreed, was the mystery of life, a miracle of existence, time and space, infinity and eternity, and our place in the midst of these. One night, as we walked along the cliff overlooking the bay, we had a memorable conversation. A full moon had risen, blazing a path of pale light across the waters. Is there a God, I asked? Is there a mind of the universe that knows and cares? For a moment, there was silence as everyone examined his thoughts. For my part, said my son, I think of God as personal, my closest friend and confidant, my loving Father on whom I can count when I am needy. The gift of life. That surprised me. He had studied with the Hindus and Buddhists, and they thought God was unknowable. I asked how he reconciled this contradiction. By knowing that contradiction always lies at the heart of everything, he said. Through the attraction of opposites, the world comes into being. To me, the unknowable God and the Heavenly Father are simply opposite sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without the other. I couldn't have agreed with him more, but it certainly made life a delicate matter. To know that there are two sides to everything, and that each deposits on the other, is to see into the reaches of infinity which dwarfs the soul. I left Vancouver Island after an idyllic week, first telling son and daughter about the man in the violet jacket. They recognized my mental creation and approved of my decision to follow it. The statue comes to life and rules the man, Pygmalion. They saw its dramatic possibilities. I told them I was on automatic, not through habit patterns or trained reactions, but followed the behest of the voice within that we had decided to call our Father. They could see it was a noble experiment, and the night before my departure toasted its success. We parted with blessings. Eric Michael, who wanted to be called Home, Kristen Ann, who wanted to be called Mural, who had already been there. In Portland, I tried to find Frederica. African Violets. I called the fire department because her father had worked there. He was deceased, they said, but they had her address. I drove out there at once, a lovely house in the trees. Then I bought an African violet plant and knocked at the door. A young man in his 20s opened it. His mother was at the beach with her husband, he said. Inside the house showed polished glow of loving care. I stuck the African violets in the young man's hand and explained that I had known his mother in high school. He said he'd tell her. I said thanks. When I turned back to look at him, he was still staring after me. I had included with the violets a note dated September 14th, 1942, my 25th birthday. The note said, "Dear Freddie, please forgive me, Stan." She would remember and forgive. It had worked out best, and we were older and wiser. It was a load off my mind. After that, I returned to Los Angeles. Chapter 3, The Jade Frog. The Mind Dynamics Convention in San Francisco was held in the Masonic Auditorium, 1111 California Street, symbolic of the Four Master Builders. 1,500 people attended, many to hear Ed Mitchell, the astronaut. I made my appearance in my turban. The turban had been given to me by Father Yod, who ran The Source, a vegetarian restaurant on the Sunset Strip in Hollywood. He used to be Jim Baker, but while practicing yoga, Kundalini ran up his spine and turned him into Father Yod. He had lots of followers. He liked the same jokes. Maybe the turban did it. I don't know, but my speech was well received, and afterward I found myself autographing books. While I was at it, somebody slipped a jade frog in my pocket. When I discovered it afterwards, I seemed to recall a young man taking a seat by my side and slipping me the gem. I held it to the light. It probably was worth something, a hand-carved piece. In the foyer, I saw the young man again. I was talking about Columbia, and he called, "Don't forget to visit Turbo." I left the group and went over to him. "Well, how do you know Columbia?" I asked. He was 30-ish, medium height, well-built, dark hair, cut afro style. In his eyes was a trace of coquet. He lowered his glance and turned away. Lithe figure in white shirt and boots and dark blue slacks, calling over his shoulder, "I'll phone you tomorrow." I thought I was onto something. It was more than I bargained. From Count to Prince. True to his word, he called, but there was no mention of Columbia. He was in the lobby and invited me to his house in Sausalito to stay a few days. I asked him up. When he came into the room, he was all smiles. He couldn't have been more helpful and friendly if his life depended on it. And he knew astrology and numerology and just couldn't get over how my room was a 5, and he was a 5, and I was a 5, and what did I make of it? Five's habit, I admitted. Yes, indeed, he said. We took the ferry to Sausalito. It was 5-2. At Sausalito, he decided we'd walk. The walk was 5 miles and all uphill, and I was carrying a suitcase. He rescued me. He'd been called to my rescue. Rescue from what? I wanted to know. Overexertion, he answered gaily. The house was perched on a cliff behind Sausalito, overlooking Angel Island and the San Francisco Bay. Inside was only a steamer trunk, which occupied the center of the living room. Downstairs was a stereo and plenty of clothes. No beds, no chairs. A few utensils were in the kitchen, and yogurt and were in the refrigerator. He explained he would sleep on the floor. I was going along with everything. Why not? I had none of the fright reaction I'd had at the Oregon Vortex. Instead, I liked my new friend. He had style. Besides, he exhibited a degree of understanding beyond his years. We talked of many things, and I found him conversant on all subjects. He even demonstrated superior knowledge. He was a delightful companion. He asked me to call him Prince and declined to furnish a full name. As the day faded into night and the moon rose up behind Angel Island and cast its glow on the waters of the bay, he told me he was from another world. The Philosopher's Stone. No doubt by now it has become evident
Whatever
that I am
he's saying, I
sometimes
probably
gullible
understand,
and
but
often naive. Nevertheless, when he hit me with his shocker, I had to keep from laughing. He certainly looked as if he belonged right here
all
on
these scummy
Wolf
people I
Earth.
know.
A prime example. In fact, who would have trouble existing elsewhere? I thought I smelled a con. His ego appeared to be showing.
People don't have reason to be
He didn't go
scummy to
into
me.
details. In fact, he didn't want to discuss it. Answers to my questions, he insisted.
Hubby, I love
giving me
you.
later. Meantime, there was much to do, for he had been assigned the task of helping me develop my
Fucking
etheric
dogs,
body.
okay.
The idea of the ether was entertained by the ancients as the fulcrum upon which the study of alchemy is based. Simply stated, the ether is the subtle medium that animates life.
Fucked up
According to
motherfuckers, dude.
Pythagoras, it is the masterwork of the four master builders.
Fucking over there
Water,
yelling
earth, and air.
about dead.
From
Fuck.
ether spring the intelligence and
The
energy of
negative
man
energy.
so naturally, I'd like to have
I think
more of
anyone
it. This
fucking
desire
needs it.
had spawned my relationship with the Count.
Nobody
Now it
needs
looked
this
as
fucking
if I was
negative
going to
bullshit,
have the
people.
advice of a prince as well. He agreed with the Count on diet, exercise, and
When are we gonna get
control,
rid of
but
these
to a
fucking
lesser
negative
extent,
energies in
on
this
control
world?
of the mind. The mind, he said, is the creative
I mean,
force
this
of
is
the
a fucking.
universe. Controlling it is like second guessing the universe. It can't be done.
That's no
Found
problem.
that an invalid viewpoint.
Energies like
Surrender
this.
control or exert control was a question being debated at every moment by the human nervous system.
What a fucking problem.
The other. Prince seemed to have overlooked this, but I didn't point it out to him. By means of alchemy, he said, I have
A lot more of a
discovered the
problem than I could
Philosopher's
ever
Stone,
be.
a rare substance that is capable of transmuting base metals to gold.
Mm-hmm.
It has made me rich. Now I would like to share it.
Yep.
I wondered aloud if he intended to share it with me. He said that he did. I asked what fortune had brought this favor my way. He said it was less merit than the hand of fate. With that, he mixed up a
Bunch of
strange
fucking
concoction and placed it in
scumbag.
front of me.
Why is this coming? Do you even fucking why is this
He
coming?
took the first draft himself,
Is there a reason why you people are like this?
out of body.
I don't even get it.
Poison him.
I don't
asked
get what
it
the
was in
fucking
it.
benefit of all this shit
Powder
is.
of projection, he said. Made from the
Anyway.
Philosopher's Stone. The base metal is human consciousness.
There's no amount of money.
Your work can feel much smoother with Monday.com WorkOS.
That's gonna make you happy with
This
your
smooth. All you need to do to
soul
get
being
started is
damned
choose one
to
of our
eternal
templates.
hell. What? Why do you do that? Why do you damn your whole fucking soul?
What's up, you guys? Welcome to my channel, Spiritual Advisor here, and I'm back with the truth. I would like to thank y'all for being here. What's up, y'all? I miss y'all. I ain't been on here like frequently as I usually be because I'm just trying to get myself together. But anyway, with that being said, I got some cards out that fell on the floor. So I'm just gonna use the cards that I got and see what story I can come up with them. See right here. And there's like 4 cards on the floor, so I'm gonna pick them up. This ain't information. Gotta deal with the devil in reverse. Detective. Satanic occult in reverse. And we got love upright, okay? Okay, let's see. What is the story? Let's see what I'm looking for. Then I look over and I see love is your energy. You see that? So you definitely like a love story. Look, I don't know. I feel like I'm hearing and the song that's playing is "When We" by Tank. Okay, it makes me love, not me. Okay, it makes me, not me. Okay, it makes me love, not me. Okay, it makes me, not me. When we fuck, when we fuck, ooh, somebody wanna fuck. When we, okay, so let's see what's going on here. This person said, I just need your blessing. Saying that I get nasty. Somebody finna meet a detective. So we got detective right here. So we got love. Who can you make sweet love? Okay, so yeah. And then deal with the devil is in reverse. So that means this person, whoever this detective is, they haven't made no deal with the devil. they could be coming forward to give you some type of information. Maybe y'all gonna fall in love. Satanic occult reverse. And I didn't know they was satanic occult. That's for sure. Oh yeah. Some of these cards. See, where we going with this, I'm feeling it like some of these cards is in reverse don't need to be in reverse. Look, when we because I just need your blessing. You said I'm getting nasty. When we okay, let's see. Okay. Ooh, somebody like you. I don't know who this message for, but somebody like you. It's a detective. Like I said, they come towards you to give you some type of information or something like that. Let's see. Dating and romance. They could stay at a distance from you. This person stay at a distance from you. They don't stay like in your city and nothing like that. Did I tell you, look, I don't know who this person is, but y'all just see how these cards came out. When we, well, that's the sound, right? Tank. I listen to a tank when we, okay? So I'm telling you, whenever y'all do that, you know what I'm saying? You probably be real fertile, or it's a baby and be a little happy family. This is somebody that you possibly gonna go old with, you know what I'm saying? Break up, never. Y'all ain't doing no breaking up. You see that? That's a family. There's you being fertile. There's y'all's a family. This person could be bald head. Wow. Oh my God. Yeah. Then the next song is Miguel, Adorn You. Let my love adorn you, baby. Don't you ever. Whoever this person is, where's the detective coming towards you with some type of information? So I'm thinking like, I don't know, maybe on down the line. Shit, relationship. Said, these lips, I can't wait to touch your skin. This person, they really attracted to. They said they can't wait to see your grin. They like your smile. Okay, Spirit, what's the message for the collective? Whoever message this is. Man, look at this shit. If you out in the cold, it's going crazy. This person would not never, they never gonna leave you out in the cold. And even for the long haul, this is not no damn karmic, okay? Whoever this person is, you can trust this person. They vibing on the same frequency as you vibing on. Vibing on.
Hey there, Drew. I'm going to show you today how to make a traditional store-bought. Real simple and easy. The first ingredient, we add a little bit of water, just like that. And you want to make sure you get a little bit of fruit in here. So we got 5 blueberries. We add a little coloring because usually the fruit is dried, or a lot of coloring. And then one of my favorite ingredients, and this is a key ingredient that we're going to add to this, is sugar. And you want to make sure that you put enough sugar in here to satiate yourself. This is the average store-bought juice right here. I'm Drew Canoli, and I am obsessed with superfoods. I'm the weird dude that goes into Whole Foods and smells like the